Hello, welcome to Celestial Bodies, a place to wonder in awe about the planets above. So let's see how the planets are dancing this week. Today, Sunday, the Sun is moving into Libra, and so we celebrate the autumn equinox. This is a moment of perfect balance between day and night, and this shift also ushers us into the more sort of yin part of the year, the introspective half of the year, inviting us to slow down and reflect. So Libra's energy is all about creating harmony in a sense and justice, weighing both sides of a situation before acting. So maybe this is a great week to consider how you listen to other people's points of view. Are you truly open to different perspectives, or are you only engaging in one side of the conversation? So in a world where polarisation seems to be the kind of norm in life now, especially on social media, where we're kind of often fed more of just what we already believe in. Libra teaches us the value of seeing both sides. Balance in its nature requires you to hold two opposing viewpoints. So imagine what could change in your outlook if you brought in this more kind of balanced place into your thoughts or your conversations this week. So I often think about this when I'm teaching yoga, and so especially when I'm teaching balancing poses, and I always remind the students about activating this sort of tension of opposites, because only when you engage sort of these both forces pulling in different directions can you find this kind of magical third space, equilibrium. So this week, try to find that same sense of balance in your mind or in your interactions, and almost finding what new insight or perspective could emerge from that. Another planet moving this week, dancing also into the sign of Libra, is going to be Mercury. So on the 26th of September, Mercury will also move into Libra. And Mercury is going to come into, not quite yet, but it's moving towards, it's going to come into a conjunction with the Sun, and then it's going to move into what's called its evening star phase, which is a moment in Mercury's cycle where it's been gathering all information, learning new things, being drawn into new ideas, and when it moves into its evening phase, it's becoming more like the wise Mercury. It's a time of kind of the information that you've gathered synthesizing, and you coming out with your own sort of sense of wisdom or perspective from it. So again, give yourself space this week to reflect on what you've learned and to consider different angles and what needs to be released, and how balance can help you gain clarity. Also, preparing this week is almost like we're still in that kind of portal, that mystical portal between eclipses. So obviously last week I spoke loads about the partial lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces, but on October the 2nd you're going to get the last solar eclipse in Libra, and this will be the last one in that space of the chart for the next 18 years. So it really does feel like a closing of sort, especially within the realm of relationships maybe, or it feels like it's quite an emotional time right now, and maybe a big emotional release. So yeah, these eclipses could signify a powerful shift, and because Libra is a sign that sort of rules relationships in a sense. So I suppose the question is, what in your life is ready to release? Like what stories are actually done now? Because sometimes even the stories that we think are done, we're still holding on to them in some sort of way. And so what is ready to make that shift when we come to that, because it's the South Node that's going to be involved in this eclipse. It's like a releasing point in the stories we're telling ourselves in that area of the chart. So yeah, there's lots of Libra energy this next month, and so it's a great time to be finding balance and peace and harmony. And obviously Libra also is a great sign of kind of visual beauty as well. So within all of this kind of like deep emotional, maybe shifting work, it's important to also sometimes have like a bunch of flowers on your table to sort of like bring you back into, or just a walk in the park to notice the changing colour of the leaves, to bring you back into that natural sense of kind of the beauty of the release of the moment, because autumn is also that time of release. And so that's also something to just contemplate. The other sign that moves this week, or the other planet that moves this week, is Venus. So the planet Venus, and I've used Scorpio for Venus this week. Not Scorpio, a snake. The reason I said Scorpio is because Venus moves into Scorpio. So Venus moves into the sign of Scorpio this week. So let me move Libra here. Scorpio is the next sign across from Libra. So it's very different. Scorpio is very different to Libra. Where Libra wants harmony and balance and to see all of the angles, Scorpio is a little more extreme. And just before Venus moves into Scorpio, she's going to square the planet Pluto. So I feel that within all of this, Venus, who will also be the planet that will rule this solar eclipse, because Venus rules Libra. So wherever Venus goes, it's almost like she's not in Libra anymore, she's going off into Scorpio, but she still rules this area of the chart. So it's almost like she runs the Airbnb of Libra in a sense, and these planets coming to visit her Airbnb there. So anyway, Venus moves into Scorpio, and that brings in a different essence to even all of this already things I've mentioned. And so, yeah, she's inviting us to confront the deeper, more shadowy parts of ourselves, or even our relationships, the aspects that push us to face our fears and uncover hidden truths and transform emotional patterns that have maybe been lingering beneath the surface. So Venus in Scorpio here is making me think a little bit about Angela Lansbury's character in Murder, She Wrote. So if you've never seen Murder, She Wrote, then you'll have to Google it. But she's a detective, and she's unafraid of the dark, and she's actively seeking out the truth. She's got like her spotlight. I think even in the opening credits of it, she's sort of got her spotlight, and she's looking for things, getting underneath the soil. So there's a kind of like silent fierceness to this Venus and Scorpio energy, a determination to uncover what's hidden, no matter maybe even how uncomfortable it might be. And so as I said, because she's ruling this up and coming eclipse from her place in Scorpio, her energy here is probably key in helping us navigate the emotional depths of this moment with a kind of quiet sort of strength. She's not here to shy away from the dark, but she's here to illuminate it and help us to confront what we've been maybe avoiding. So in some ways, when you finally confront something, it sometimes actually also stops being scary, like realising that the ghost you feared is just the sheet hanging over the pole. It maybe seemed bigger than it was, but once seen in that kind of clarity and illumination, you're able to sort of peel back the layers and show that what you once feared doesn't have the power over you anymore. And so yeah, it is definitely from this previous full moon, we are in this really watery, quite emotional, quite deep space at the moment in this eclipse portal. But there is something wanting us to shine a light on these aspects right now. And to finish, what I thought I would do was look at where the moon's going this week. So there are other things going on, of course, as I always say. There are other planetary movements that are kind of almost running simultaneously to this that also add more information to this. But I feel like these are maybe the main themes that might touch on us, that might be quite local to us this week. So I'll move these guys out of the way, or maybe just I'll move them like slightly up a little bit as I talk about the moon. So the moon will move. The moon is actually currently in its waning phase, meaning that it's shedding and releasing. So it also kind of ties in with some of the things I've already spoke about. So it's also inviting us to slow down and reflect and release old patterns or things that are ready to release. So it can be a time when it's the waning moon phase to be more quieter and more introspective as we prepare for the new beginnings that are coming. So where does the moon go this week? The moon on between sort of Sunday and sort of Tuesday morning is going to be in Gemini. So curiosity and conversations. While in Gemini, the moon will actually meet up with the planet Jupiter while in Gemini, that planet of abundance. So it's what a perfect time to embrace our curiosity. While the moon is in Gemini, the multiple versions of the truth. It's also a great day for engaging in conversations, so be open to chats that expand your mind. And I've just realised that on Monday I'm meeting up with a friend of mine who is a Gemini, and we haven't seen each other for ages. And so that, I didn't plan it that way, but I'm really happy that it happened that way, that we'll be meeting while the moon is in her sign and it's going to be coming close to Gemini. It should be a great chatty time. And then from, let's say, sort of Tuesday to Thursday evening, the moon is going to be moving into Cancer. So while the moon's in Cancer, it's making me think cosy but active. It's in its own sign in Cancer, offering us comfort and nurturing vibes, but it's not all quiet because this moon will also meet up with Mars. So it might feel like a mix of cooking up a storm in the kitchen and that mum energy of sort of clearing out the space, like telling everybody, like, get out, I'm tidying up. Like, it might have a little bit of an edge to it with it meeting up with Mars there as well. Interestingly, whenever the moon's in Cancer until right into next year, it'll always be meeting up with Mars. So there may be more of that type of energy to come, and I'll probably talk about that in future episodes. And then from Thursday to Saturday, the moon will be in Leo, which is giving me a more express yourself vibe. Like, as we move into Thursday night, Friday and Saturday, it's more bold in Leo. It's encouraging us to express ourselves and create and have fun. Like, not to show off, but simply because it brings us joy. So it's like, let your light shine in whatever way makes you happiest. But because it's a waning moon, it also makes me feel like this might be a more internal process. So actually, it makes me think of almost more like getting your watercolours out and painting all day, or even sort of like creative things that maybe have a little more of an inner quality to them, an inner reflective quality to them, but still nonetheless. And then it also makes me think, because Leo can seem like the sign that's looking for applause to be on the stage and that sort of thing. So it also makes me think of that, like just doing something creative or expressive that is with no need for the outward recognition of it. But still that Leo sort of like really warm energy to the weekend, which is nice. So as we move through this week, embrace the balance between action and reflection, between listening and speaking. It's like the universe is guiding us to realign and find a harmony, not just within our external relationships where it might play out there, but within ourselves. So let this Libra season take you into that moment of that tension of opposites, which finds that sort of magical third space of equilibrium or even sort of peace. Thank you for listening. As always, please like this video if you've liked it, subscribe, send me any comments, and if you can tell a friend, that would be so good. And I will see you next week. Bye.